Hey guys, so the third phase of passing that Gordon talks about is submission-based passing. He's got his loose base, he has the tight base, and then he uses submission. So the two submissions that we can look for that work well passing in many different scenarios, but very well with this floating position, is the Kimura as well as the guillotine or head and arm control. Gordon talks about any time that somebody has limb extension, they become vulnerable to submissions, which is true because our structure becomes very specific to one thing. Our elbows are separated from our body, and so if they can be redirected into levers, then we're going to be very successful with this. So back up a little bit further. If Kevin is extending out into me to stop me from being able to actually lower myself, which is usually what we're getting from people, especially once you start hitting them with this floating stuff, is as you're trying to move in, your opponents are going to be just at all costs framing you out, being like, no, I'm not letting him get on top of me. We're going to have to work to control the inside space, whatever side I'm looking to attack. The side that I'm using to staple over top of the leg, it makes most sense to attack that arm if we're looking at the Kimura on the opposite side. So my right knee is coming over, stapling his left side to the mat. I'm attacking the right arm. Doesn't make sense for me to try and do this because now I'm breaking my posture by trying to twist myself. My hips are already facing this direction. Alignment says that I should be keeping myself here. Controlling the wrist, I can look to start establishing this control immediately, especially depending on the length of you and your opponent. I'm going to be able to start doing this. You might have to do this more of a roll. I need to have this wrist control, and what I'm going to look to do is roll over my right shoulder while I'm bringing this arm underneath, rolling through. As I roll, I am connecting my arm underneath and to my own wrist, no thumbs, so that I can punch my arms to internally rotate Kevin's shoulder, and I'm thinking about punching his hand to his right hip. So right arm and shoulder being attacked, punch it to the right hip, and I'm looking to move myself into this T position. By here, now in this position, I can look to attack the back, use my Kimura control. I can even completely bail on it if I want to and get past. The beauty of this floating position is that there's no control of the range for Kevin when it comes to stopping me from being able to back away at my choice. There's nothing holding on to me like, say, a closed guard where he's clamped my hips. In that same way, there's nothing stopping me from being able to roll over top. I just want to make sure it's controlled. Controlling the wrist. So as we're battling here, if I'm controlling the wrist here, get the wrist, open it away from his body, looking to now perform this roll over top of my right shoulder. Hopefully pulling my legs out completely, but it doesn't matter even if he hooks my leg right now. It's kind of like when we were attacking the back from deep half guard. I'm sitting behind his head as a pillow with my hips. I've got rotational control here with the Kimura control. All I'm going to look to do is he's holding on to this, hook it. Because I can now bring this leg in freely and look to break that grip. And then from here, build up and start using this Kimura to move Kevin around however I want. The other one is going to be guillotine. I'm looking for the head and arm control. I use this one more. Gordon uses the rolling Kimura. He does use the head and arm control, but I haven't seen him actually do it really in competition that I can recall. If you guys know a video, please tell me of it. But if Kevin is pushing down at my hips or overhooking my leg, this is a problem that I would always run into, is that he's hooking the leg, yes, so I can possibly kick over, but if I haven't even established the shin circle, it's going to be difficult for me to be able to move from here. His arms are low, I attack his neck. So from here, all I'm going to be looking at doing is lifting myself up and reaching over top. So depending on length, I can cover that distance easily. If I need to, float your hips a bit higher. Underhook is preferred for the other arm, but it can be an overhook. The main thing is bringing this over and going for the chin strap. So as I'm grabbing Kevin, reaching under, grabbing his chin so I have lever control, and I can twist his neck and really break his alignment. We can absolutely look to try and finish a guillotine, but it's not necessarily the best range right now because he still has his butterfly hook. I get my underhook control at the same time as I do this, and I'm moving to my side. I can complete a roll over top of my shoulder if I want. So here, because I have this underhook and I have this chin control and I'm behind Kevin's head, if Kevin tries to turn one direction, if he tries to turn to his left right now, I have his right shoulder. If he tries to turn to his right, I pull his chin to the left. From here, I'm able to control twisting his hand further by twisting and activating the lever with the chin. Would be very successful. I can also kind of just drop to the side, and I want to make sure I'm landing on my elbow here. Even if he tries to elevate me with his butterfly hook, I don't really care. I'm going to be able to start beating this. If he tries to turn into me to complete the sweep and get up, it's too easy for me to control the rotation of his body and beat him. Here, or if he's pushing down at my legs, because sometimes they're going to not want you to have your knee penetrating through past the hip. That's where that Kimura can be set up. Or the head and arm control. So as he pushes down here, roll it all the way through. See how this hook, I can bring it through to his armpit like this. If he tried to turn away from me, this shoulder is pinned. If he tried to turn into me, I turn that chin away from me. This allows me control, breaking his alignment, stopping his rotation. He tries to turn either way. Get on top, Kevin. Fight me. I can control. Then from here, I can start looking at finishing from a more dominant position, like side control or mount, rather than trying to pull the guillotine out of my ass when I'm still kind of in my opponent's guard. Being in our opponent's guard, they have frames to manage the range. Guard is a range management device. It's not the time for us to attack when we're in someone's guard. Get to dominant position. Use the submissions when people are starting to open up their structure or give you very specific responses. And then when they work to defend those positions, then you're going to be able to move back to either tight or pressure-based passing, or you can move to loose style or movement style passing.